Good mornings. The School of Fine Tuning on cue. My dogs are going to bark, probably. They're just huffing at the moment. So as I posted, I wanted to just talk about an AcuPoint that's really good for this time of year for coughs and colds and flus and things like that, to restore any sort of, in Chinese medicine they call it wind invasion. And so wind invasion typically happens at a point called the governing vessel 14 or GV14, and it's great for it's the meeting point of all yang meridians, so it's good to regulate yang, so it strengthens yang or it sedates the yang, but most of all it's if you're yang deficient that it can boost yang qi, but if you've got a fever and excess yang, it can clear the heat very quickly. But so it has numerous purposes, but very much for strengthening the yang qi if you've got a cold or a cough or flu. So there's 2 points that are next to each other. Well, one is the governing vessel 14, GV14, and then you've got the Bl13 slightly to the side of the vertebrae. GV14 is in between the spinous processes, and Bl13, which is the back shoe point for the lungs, is also really good for coughs and colds. So I'm going to, I was going to put my hair up. Where's my hairband? There it is. Put my hair up and then I'm going to spin round. I've just got my top tied around me, and then I'm just going to show you a little bit of gua sha. You can also use some cupping, so you can put a cup on it. But I'm going to do it to myself, but if you can get somebody to do it for you, then brilliant. So let's think. I've got loads of gua sha, and once I finish this, I'm going to do a little vid on all my pieces of gua sha. But so for this, I'm going to select a bigger piece just because then I can reach around. And so we've got the protruding C7 vertebrae here, and then in between the C7 vertebrae, hang on a second, here, C7. And then below here, this area, oh, it's quite central there. Oops. There. This is where the GV14 is. And then just coming out to the side is where the Bl13 is. Can you see that? So you find the protruding vertebrae of C7, and then just below that is GV14, and then T1. So obviously, I don't do gua sha on my spinous process on the bone, so even if I was to just work around this area here and coming down onto the lung back shoe point, and then over Bl13 as well, gallbladder 21. Gallbladder 21. This point here is contraindicated during pregnancy, and it's fantastic for descending qi. For that reason, it's contraindicated during pregnancy. It's great for descending qi, and it also assists the liver qi for circulating qi. Working around this area gently on the GV14. A bit stronger on the Bl13 and the gallbladder 21, this whole area. You can see it's come up quite red, yeah. And so you do that bilaterally. Actually, it's nicer to do it with oil on. I think that's really a nicer way of doing it. I just wanted to demonstrate it while I was sat here, but I think a little bit of oil on is really, really good. And so you can do it regularly around this time of year just to boost your immune system and keep your immune system going, or you can do it if you feel the onset of a cold. It's a good time to start working those points. So hope you find that interesting.